again. Ahoy there. This is the Metal. How are you guys doing? Look how wonderful the day is around me. Like, this is a really gray sky. Makes the grass look even greener than normal. Or at least because it's a darker shade, I guess. I don't know. It seems greener to me. I love gray days. I love cloudy days. It rained very recently. Still feels moist in the air. Wonderful time for a walk. It might even rain on me again. Who knows? But I am loving it. And we're just out here doing our thing as I'm waking up for the day. I like normal. I stayed awake until like 9-ish in the morning, so I got started really late. But I'm up, I'm moving now. I woke up to some weird news that I'm actually kind of happy about, because I think it would greatly improve this company that has been, I don't know, fucking things up for a while, I guess is a good way. And that is the fact that Microsoft just bought out Bethesda. Which, I don't think, just ahead of time, that any of their games are going to become exclusive. But even if that did become the case, I really don't give a shit because I'm a PC gamer anyway. And one of the reasons I've been really liking Microsoft lately is because I don't have to buy their shitty-ass console to play their games. Everything is just being put on the computer. So that's pretty good. Once you start relying on like playing most games on the computer, you kind of just eliminate yourself from the console wars. I think most people know this. The only console I actually give a shit about is Nintendo, because Nintendo will have exclusive games you won't ever be able to play on the computer that are actually fun. I don't give a shit about Sony's exclusives. None of them look fun to me, honestly. Some of them I can admit they're good games. They just don't interest me. Like God of War. Looks like a genuinely good game. I might watch somebody play through it. I have no interest in playing it myself. But like, none of the Microsoft games, even if they weren't on PC, probably would be enough to interest me in buying an Xbox either. But I like the fact that I don't even have to consider it, because they put everything on the computer. And going back to Bethesda sucks, okay? They suck fucking balls. They have for a while. Elder Scrolls has not been good for a while. I don't care how much people like Skyrim. Skyrim's a piece of shit. Fallout 4 is a piece of shit too. And maybe, just maybe, that they've got new bosses over there, because ZeniMax itself hasn't necessarily been doing anything productive to fixing this shit. Maybe the games will get better. Who knows? I'm not holding my breath. But more so, because Microsoft actually does seem to be caring about making their own games, or having games out underneath their company, that they might just use their resources to make new games, which are probably ultimately going to be better anyway. I know they've been doing stuff with Obsidian that they had already bought. That's another reason why I don't think anything will become exclusive, because was it Outer Worlds you could play on like any console, so there's that. And even that the new one that they're doing that I was interested in, I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's basically going to be their answer to the Elder Scrolls series. Also looks like it's playable and everything. What would be really cool, since they now own Obsidian and Bethesda, is if we could get an HD remaster of New Vegas, hopefully by neither company. They outsource it to some smaller studio, because I don't want Obsidian wasting their time remastering a game when they could be making newer, better games. And I don't trust Bethesda, if the same people are working there, to actually do anything good with a game. So outsource it to somebody. I don't care. But New Vegas is the best of the 3D Fallouts. I still think Fallout 2 is the best one. I know I'm kind of old school like that. A lot of people don't even like the playstyle of the old Fallouts, and that's why they would find you crazy for saying 1 or 2 are good at all, let alone the best. But I like 2 the best. And if we take out the kind of old, would you call it turn-based strategy? I guess it was kind of turn-based-ish. But the slow strategy, we'll just call it slow strategy, right? You take out the slow strategy versions of, or is it more RTS? It really was on the board. I'm going to call them slow strategies. You take out the slow strategy of the first and second Fallout, New Vegas is the best one. 3 was It was obviously the one that introduced it into the more 3D viewing space and the more active combat, but it also removed a lot of the cooler elements of the previous games. New Vegas was cooler because it did everything good that 3 did. It did it well, and then it brought back a lot of the cooler things that were removed from it because Obsidian kind of listens to people, I guess. I don't know. I'm assuming the forums is what they were listening to, because a lot of my complaints of Fallout 3 were answered in New Vegas. And then 4 came, back by Bethesda again, and it was a piece of shit. I don't care what anybody says, 4 was awful. And it's kind of been my opinion of Elder Scrolls too, is that Elder Scrolls has just kind of been going downhill. The older ones, like Daggerfall, amazing games. My favorite one is Morrowind, for personal reasons, but Morrowind honestly is not as good of a game as Daggerfall. And then it just goes downhill from there. I still enjoyed Oblivion, but it's not as good of a game. And then I probably would not enjoy Skyrim at all if it wasn't for the fact that I paid $5 for it. So I don't know. I like it. I like hearing companies that I don't have a problem with, buying companies I have a problem with, because at least there's a slight chance something will get fixed. This is not holding my breath. Things will probably just run as normal, to be honest. Things will probably still be shit, but at least there's a glimmer of hope there, right? Just a tiny one. Yeah. Anyway, that was on my mind because that was the first thing I saw when I got out of bed. I think it was my brother Joey sent it to me, and then when you hop onto like Facebook or Twitter, everybody's talking about it. And I realized that my opinion is different than most of the people I saw talking about. A lot of people thought this was a bad thing. Like, why? Why? The fuck has Bethesda done good? Other than it, like, maybe its subsidiaries, Doom. But then Doom Eternal was the shitty compared to the last one. Probably for some reasons of, like, I think the main dev died or something like that, so they had to come in, like the director died or something. They had to come in and put an assistant director, who I think was more of a Bethesda guy. I don't remember the exact details, but I just, who knows if the next one will be good. And that's it. That's all they really got going for is Doom. And that's id specifically. And I hated what it did to, yeah, I'm spacing on the name right now. Fucking, Quake, that's it. Dude, I fucking loved Quake, right? Quake 3, Quake Arena, great games. Older Quake's good too. Quake Champions, I believe, is the name of the most recent one. Did not like it. I liked the fact that, in general, it felt like a Quake game, with the whole vertical aspects of a shooter brought back. You don't really have a lot of games that do that. Fast pace. You gib pretty easily. But then, it's a hero shooter. At least it's an arena shooter, but it's still a hero shooter. And like any hero shooter, none of the characters are balanced in regard to each other. You basically have to pick the character that whose affinity is the weapon you like, which I don't like, because different characters are better with different weapons than each other. And one of the cool things about the old Quake games is very similar to like games like Halo and stuff, where you just pop in with the character and then you just kind of pick up whatever weapon and run. And all the weapons are fun. And Quake was such a fast-paced game too. I don't know why they do things like this to games. They think they're evolving the games, and to some degree they probably are, but in other ways they're just making them worse. Why do you do this to me, companies? Oh yeah, it's sprinkling on me. This is a nice walk. Enjoying this. If you notice, it's probably the same setting. You see, I just walk the same route most of the time. Like I said before, nothing's open. There's no point in me going downtown or anything like that. And especially if I'm going to record a video, it's a pretty empty trail back here. Nobody bothers me. I don't have to worry about like too much conflicting noise and stuff like that. It's pretty good. This trail's pretty new too. It hasn't always been in my town. I think it was added maybe 6-7 years ago. And even then, it took me forever to actually want to go down it. Or not that I want to go down. I wanted to go down it for a long time. I think it took me 2 years before I finally went on this trail. I was just too busy. And I was traveling back and forth between towns in the Metroplex. So every time that I was in town, it's like, I just don't have time. But then I finally went down and I was like, man, I love it. It's a good hiking path. I think every city needs places where you can hike, whether it's a dedicated trail or not. I mean, sure, there's houses like literally right there. Who cares? There's also trees right there with other houses. Despite the fact that I'm still right in the middle of suburbia, you kind of get this illusion of nature, and I think that's what ultimately really matters. You gotta breathe in as fresh of the air as you can. Like, obviously, you're not gonna get really fresh air in a city, but as fresh of the air you can, breathe in that tree smell, kind of reset yourself a little bit. That's what I gotta do. Anyway, I really didn't have too much to talk about. I'd seen that thing right as I got up. I was gonna go for my walk anyway. I figured I would give my 2 cents on it, and you got it. So I will catch you guys later. See ya.